Hello, everybody. This is Swarmlord39 from Almost Cool. I'm here with Math Jazz
Hello.
and Diermood,
Hello.
and we are back with another episode of Stellaris. Now, this week we have a couple cool announcements, but let's go ahead and unpause the game while we start things off. Now, first things first is that as of this week, the Synthetic Dawn has a release date.
Ooh.
It is to be released on the 21st of this month.
Ooh.
Yep.
This ought to be interesting.
So I just finished my first habitat.
Let's try bumping it up. We're all actually keeping a pretty good pace. We want to move it up to fast.
Might be a good idea. For those of you who don't know, Diermu has finally pieced together a gaming computer, and hopefully his computer will.
Actually, let's put it back. It seems like now yours can't keep up.
Again, that might be my massive fleet. I seem to be having trouble. Yeah,
Maybe, but actually, let's just leave it here. Yeah, if nothing else, it's helping time move a little faster.
Yeah. Whoop.
Well, that is the point.
Yeah.
But hey, mine's keeping up. That's what's the important thing here.
Oh my gosh! Just seeing I just zoomed down. And I'm like, what is that? That is my fleet. That is my fleet turning around. Oh my gosh! That is wow. That is just wow. Anywho, another. So we'll get into the dev diary at another point. Another announcement is that after next week we will be changing our stream time to Tuesday nights. With school starting back up for math, it is just going to be easier for all of us if we do it Tuesday evenings rather than Sunday evenings.
Hey, I don't work at a school.
Neither I don't go to a school at the moment either. So
I know. I'm just being playful.
yeah. So my point is that overall this will be easier. It will be easier for on. It'll cause the least amount of problems if we shift it over to Tuesday evenings. So yeah, next week it will still be Sunday evening 5:30, and then the week after that it will be Tuesday. Any preference on times?
It would have to be after 6 for me.
That would be the earliest I can do it.
So
a little later would probably be preferred, but 6 is the earliest.
7 okay?
7 my time at least, yeah.
that'd be 8 our time?
8, yeah.
That should be fine for me.
I don't see too much of a problem. So yeah, it will be about 8. So
Oh, I forgot.
What?
Nothing. It's just that the tutorials things with the one robot, I forget its name.
Oh,
it turned on since I had to reinstall the game.
Right.
Oh.
Because of new computer.
So I'm working on trying to get a lot of this stuff reset the way I had it.
Yeah. So, yeah, but with all of that, basically that should also mean, and I believe you guys will agree, that the next episode will also be the last for this season.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, we've already been we've already been at the point where we technically would win anyway. It's just a matter of us actually finishing it off.
I already have my next empire made.
I'm holding off on that because I want to make one of the synthetic empires for our next one.
Do you remember what an Iliathid is?
Yes.
I made an Iliathid race.
Are you gonna have them eat other sentients?
I'd love to, but unfortunately, I don't think that's possible to build.
Well, I mean, all you need to do is make them xenophobe.
True.
Xenophobe or hive mind.
I think they're xenophobe. I need to double check.
Because yeah, xenophobes, you can have the extermination method be defaulted to. Oh, what was?
And just so that our loving audience knows, an Iliathid is a monster from Dungeons and Dragons. They are essentially squid people that eat people's brains.
Yeah, but yeah, you could in fact make it so they all exterminate all the races by eating them, or you can keep them as I have no idea how to pronounce it. The chattel slavery.
Chapel.
Yeah, you can have them keep other races as chattel slavery.
Hmm.
So basically, they are sitting around as food slaves. It's horrible, but you could do it.
Hey, if I'm gonna make mind flares.
So, I vote that we wipe out Diarmuid because he's evil
Ouch. Not
Basically,
untrue in this case.
as
Not
fast
untrue.
as possible to make the galaxy a better place.
Yeah. So, before we forget, we want to go over both the Dev Diary and the Babylon 5 episodes from these that we were supposed to watch, except for Diarmuid forgot.
Yeah, I kind of failed, yeah.
But hey, we can catch him up on it and he can watch in his own time. He'll just know what to expect. But first things first, the last of the Dev Diaries before the 1.8 update that comes with Synthetic Dawn. It is for Decadence and Ascension Path changes.
Ooh.
And also they forgot to tack it on, so it's also involving megastructures. They just apparently forgot when they first posted. Anyway, first things first, Decadence, which is a free part of the update and will not be involved with Synthetic Dawn, is Awakened Empire Decadence. Basically, as they were added in, people were having occasionally would have problems where an Awakened Empire would end up with basically control over the entire galaxy, save the player or players involved, and that would sometimes leave basically a player unable to fight the Awakened Empire because the entire galaxy was against them. So that in turn would leave them basically stuck as a Awakened Empire subject. And so they've added in what is known as Decadence. Decadence is basically a meter that starts off at 0, ends at 100, and starts at some point after the Empire has awakened. The larger they are, the quicker it builds up, and it reduces their resource income and fleet power, and increases the rebelliousness of their subjects. So basically, the more decadent they get, the weaker they become. So eventually, it will be that an Awakened Empire will start to fall apart, and that is and so if you become a subject of an Awakened Empire, you just need to start building up your forces and preparing for the day that they are weak enough to rebel and to conquer them. So yeah, they've basically effectively given a method to get around the hyper power of Awakened Empires, which is a very nice little deal. Next up are Ascension Path changes, and this one has been clamored for since they were announced and what was going to be involved. The end goals of the Ascension Paths, the psionic, synthetic, or biological, and the psionic and the synthetics being restricted to spiritualists and materialists was, well, not very popular with most people. We've discussed this before, and we could see reasons why on both ends. And basically saying they've decided that they are going to remove the hard limit on allowing you to go psionic or synthetic. So basically, materialists can become psionic, and spiritualists can become synthetic. Basically, spiritualists can research robotics, and get all that, and they can also get AI citizens' rights. Materialists can research psionics. Spiritualists are getting a buff for stronger temples. Materialists are getting a new living standard called academic privilege. However, they are also leaving what is basically known as a soft limit, and basically it's like currently the impact of the ascension path does affect the ethics, attraction, and faction happiness. So even if you are a materialist that researches psionics, your spiritualist faction will be the happy faction that you're becoming psionic, and the materialist faction will be the one that's happy that you're going synthetic, regardless of if you're spiritualist or materialist.
That sounds fair.
Yep. So yeah, basically you're still dealing with that fact. There are also a few more path specific changes. Psionics get buffed traits in the Psycorps building, and adds an alert to tell you when the shroud is ready for use. Which I can tell you, being at psionic this time, that would be amazing, because I can't tell you how many times I realized, oh hey, I missed that. Oops. And I've been sitting, like I said, sat on there for a year or something. Additionally, psionic awakening of other species in your empire now happens more often. Synthetics have the added ability to assimilate new biological pops into synthetic bodies. And since Synthetic Dawn is adding in the robo-modding, the ability to change how different robots function and whatnot, that's already giving them a decent buff. So in return, they're also slightly nerfing the leader traits that come with it.
Okay.
Which I think is fair. And then the biological path is getting an extra trait point and reducing the cost of the advanced traits that come with it, trying to even things out a little. Since while they do have a buff in and of themselves, it is not quite the same overarching buff that the other paths give. And finally, the mega structures change. With the common complaint with mega structures has been that they do not have enough of an impact. For example, for the several stages that I put in on my Dyson sphere, 40,000 minerals per stage, and it gets me a total of 400 excess energy, which a couple well managed habitats devoted to energy can actually beat that. So it's they're trying to balance it while also maintaining giving them that impact, that impressive feel. And as such, they are altering the Dyson sphere and the Science Nexus. The Dyson sphere will produce 1,000 energy, and a fully upgraded Science Nexus will give out 750 of each science, I think. Or it will be giving out 250 of each science. I don't know. It's not 100% clear on that. It just says a total of 750 science. So I don't know if that means a 750 of each or 750 total. Anywho, moving on that. But in return, each civilization will only be able to build one of each. So they will be very powerful. They won't be changing the build time or the cost, but it will mean that they can no longer be spammed. You can't build like 40 Dyson spheres in a game. You can only build one. And in return, then
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do the Dyson spheres count towards your border extension?
I don't believe so.
So that means that if you built a Dyson sphere on a border, and then people conquered a planet on that border, they would now get your Dyson sphere.
I believe that would be the case. Yes.
That's fascinating. Also, is it possible for is it possible for awakened empires or fallen empires to have Dyson spheres? Or
I don't know.
Other megastructures.
Whoa, my game just crashed.
Oh, okay. We will pause this.
That figures. What did it decide? Why is it updating? It's updating something. It says it's updating something. Why? What is it updating? Workshop content.
That's annoying.
That is very annoying. Um. Well, I mean, there's not much I can do until it decides that it wants to finish. So I guess we'll continue going over the stuff. Oh my gosh, this is another reason why it'd be good to start a new game. Because I think my computer's having trouble with it, and that probably partially because things like it's processing so much on my Empire. I mean, I lag every time I select my fleet now, so I don't know. Anywho, but so another thing on that Mega Perks is that they are not actually changing anything on Ring Worlds. So it's basically giving an indirect buff to the Ring World perk. Because you could still build as many of those as you want. Okay, starting Stellaris back up. And finally there's a tweak to the Master Builders, and this one is a very big deal and a very awesome deal. Master Builder's perk will now give you access to the Mega Engineering technology if you don't already have it.
Ooh.
So, which means that you can go for the Voidborn, and then you can get the Master Builders, and that will allow you to start down the Mega Structures perk path. Which is that's a very nice little detail, and one which I think a lot of people have been scrambling for, and I think a lot of people who put in modded Ascension perks have done that as well. Well, at least this time the game decided to crash. It's going to actually go at a reasonable speed. Yeah. And sorry about that, guys. I really don't know what happened. Oh, the tick rules is here.
We'll only blame you behind your back.
So the tick rules made a comment on the Fallen and Awakened Empires mega structures, and that they can only have ring worlds, as far as he knows. And honestly, that's the only one I can think of as well, and that's only I think only materialists end up with them. It's like basically that's their planets and whatnot. Which, to be fair, like I ended up taking those and taking the materialists ring worlds this time around. That's the equivalent of 4 size 25 Gaia worlds. And
you had. I mean, it was a huge risk on your part going up against those.
Again, if you recall, I had no real choice. He hated my guts because he didn't like me because I was a spiritualist and he was materialist. And then he awakened and decided I needed to be removed.
Yeah. It was a big risk on your part, but it paid off a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're back, so we can unpause it, right?
Yep.
There we go.
Okay. Anywho, where is my... I'm bombarding a planet, and I need to get my transport fleet onto said planet. Lag. Out of the system. Okay. So, and I think that's pretty much it. Holy crap, that is large. That is a large fleet. Wait, how is there a military fleet in there and I've occupied planets? Did they rebuild a military station in there when I've rebuilt planets? Especially an interdictor one. You went in and rebuilt a military station in there? Wow. That's dedication. Anywho, so The Tick Rules is asking, has anyone here read the Ringworld books?
No, I've had it recommended, but I haven't read it.
Same.
Also, same. I've also talked about it with one of my friends, and he's mentioned it. I've looked up a few things, but I haven't actually read them. From what I've read, I mean, the Ringworld types that we have, I think, are actually not. I don't. I think they are not even quite as big as a. Or maybe they are, but it's maybe they are as big, but unlike ours, like the full thing is in use. I can't remember. It was I don't think any. I think most Ringworld things tend to be inspired by it, but still manage to fall short of it. If I recall.
Sounds right.
Well, I'd like to hear more about the series.
As I said,
No, I mean, like, I'd like to hear what the Tick Rules has to say about the series. 'Cause I might be in the neighborhood for picking up a new book series to read. Oh, I have news.
Hmm?
So, um, so to get a PhD, you have to pass enough classes. You have to pass your qualifying exams, and you have to defend a dissertation.
Mm-hmm.
And on Wednesday, I got to hear back from the department saying that I passed my last qualifying exam.
oh, nice.
Yes, that plus the fact that I'm done with coursework means that all I have to do is a dissertation now, and then I am a doctor.
That is very nice.
Yeah. So,
Swarmlord, I now proclaim that once he's a doctor, we call him Doctor Math Jazz.
I guess so.
From now on, he will not from now on, but the moment he's a doctor, he will be Doctor Math Jazz. I here proclaim it. Do you second?
Yes.
Well, I guess I get outvoted for this. So, that's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, the Tick Rules commented on the Ringworld's books. If you, according to his recollection, the Ringworld was 1,000 miles across and was the size of Earth's orbit around the sun. So, honestly, I'd say ours actually hold up pretty well because it's the size of an orbit. I don't know about actual mileage across, but
It's pretty huge.
1,000 miles seems pretty thin for a ring, to be honest.
I don't know. I
But,
mean,
like that, a ring that's 1,000 miles wide and goes around the sun from a distance of Earth's orbit is like, imagine having like a ring that goes around a football stadium and the ring is as thick as a spider's web.
true.
I can
I,
see.
and that's totally a rough estimate. Someone's gonna actually like calculate what it would actually be, but it's a very thin little ring going around the Earth orbit.
Yeah, but at the same time, science fiction. It might be that that the person who did it actually calculated it out, how it might be possible. I know people have like calculated out the possibility of like Dyson spheres and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are varying degrees of sci-fi. Some that are closer to science fact than others.
Yeah, like I believe we partially shifting us all back to one of the things we haven't done yet. It was like Babylon 5's space combat.
Yeah, I think Babylon 5 is probably closer to science fact than, say, like Star Trek is. And that's nothing wrong with Star Trek. I mean, Star Trek is closer to science fact than Star Wars is, but I love both series, both franchises quite a bit. So
Yeah, yeah, you do.
it's okay to not have a very consistent laws of set of laws of physics in your story.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this one. This one game that is takes place supposedly in the far off future in the solar system, and it's gone so far out that it's basically just says, yeah, space magic's a thing, because they just can't keep up with science. The Air Moon might know what I'm talking about.
Which one?
Warframe.
Oh yeah,
That one they just straight up went into space magic. Just
it might as well be.
no, I think they effectively said it's basically space magic. Just named it differently. They named it Void Powers, and basically it's space magic.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, so shifting us back to where I was trying to direct us, we needed to discuss the 2 Babylon 5 episodes that we were to watch for today, which, if I recall, were Survivors and By Any Means Necessary.
That's correct.
Yeah, so, the Tick Rules is coming back on the Ringworld series. You like the book series. Some have complained the lead female isn't very empowering, but these days even Wonder Woman isn't good enough, so it's like you do what you want.
Yeah, I don't particularly care about character being empowering or not. I care about them being a good character, like a well-written character.
I agree on that one.
Sometimes that means an empowered character, and sometimes that means it isn't an empowered character.
In fact, sometimes it's better to not have an empowered character just because of what they're involved with.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are some issues of the Superman comics that are just pretty lame because Superman is way too empowered.
Okay, anywho, back to Babylon 5. Survivors' main plot line involved the president coming to visit Babylon 5, and and with him coming, there in fact happened to be a bombing in one of the Babylon 5 fighter bays that kickstart an investigation to make sure that the president's arrival will be safe and secure. And it leads to the security chief, Michael Garibaldi, being accused of setting up the bomb in the first place. As Garibaldi tries to clear his name and whatnot, the head of security for the president, who happens to be the daughter of an old friend of his, who blames Garibaldi for her father's death, is basically trying to prove that it's him while he's trying to prove his innocence. And it eventually comes out, I believe, that it was one of the people who died in the blast, and one of the members of the president's security team that were actually behind the bombing.
That sounds accurate. That's pretty much what happened.
And was it the? I think. No, I don't remember what the side plot was.
Let's see.
I may have ended up going on a bit of a binge watch because of that, so I can't remember which side plot was the one I was looking for.
I think the side plot was Garibaldi's dealings with his alcoholism relapse.
Yeah, that could be it.
But you're right, like it's kind of blurred together for me. I'm not sure which B plot went with this.
I know the next B plot because the next B plot, the the next B plot was involved. Well, I more specifically remember what the B plot because how it was partially tied in with the end of the main plot. Anyway, but I kind of like this one because I mean it offered more backstory into Garibaldi and I mean part of it was definitely the whole usual. Oh, okay, he had a past, and we're showcasing you part of his past with that. Well, by making it part of the current situation, but it also, I mean, he had a drinking problem. He has a drinking problem, and him relapsing is apparently a thing. Well, and yet, as showing that he had this minor relapse, but then backs out of it by the end is I think it was really good for a bit of character development for Garibaldi.
Yeah, I mean, even though he went and got himself completely, wasted, um, he was able to put himself together, and he regretted what he did, and Sinclair promised to continue, to help him to overcome this fault.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, oh, one thing that was interesting is when when Garibaldi went rogue
Mhm.
and was trying to avoid being captured um, because he was a suspect, he went to all of the various nefarious people on Babylon 5 to try and ask for help. And I thought it was fascinating how you know the the giant like mosquito looking alien that sells all the
Mantis-looking alien, but yeah.
sells all the contraband. As like he said, no, your police won't deal with you at all. And like that's a smart black marketeer. And the next thing that happened, well, I say next. What I mean, the next one is that I want to talk about is how you know um, Lando said, hey, like I can't help you a lot, but here's some money, and you know I'll deny that I saw you when people ask. And like, okay, so we go from unhelpful
he
to like,
Well, to be fair, it was less of it was he was not just saying that he would deny seeing you. He would deny everything. He would deny that he was He would deny that he was helping him, but he would also, deny that he thinks Garibaldi's innocent.
yeah, but like it's just this scale between, on the one side you have the this mantis alien who says no, absolutely not, will not help, and then you have in the middle you have Lando who says, here's some money, and basically I can't help you a lot, but at least I'll turn a blind eye to you being here and hand you a little cash.
And then you actually had the commander and Ivanova, who, while they weren't directly helping, they did everything they could to give Garibaldi the time he needed to clear his name.
Yeah, but I was moving on to the Narn next. What's the ambassador's name?
Jakar.
Jakar.
Jakar. Okay.
Jakar. There we go. Jakar goes and says, "Hey, look, I am offering to smuggle you off the ship, and you can have an important position in my homeworld's government as an advisor. And you know, if you're really good, we might even do some surgery on you to make you look like a Narn and send you back to." Well, I guess they didn't say look like a Narn. They just said some reconstructive surgery. And
Genetic surgery and whatnot, which I'm guessing means that it would make him obvious that he's not, make it less likely that people realize he's Garibaldi, as well as other things that might help him possibly spy on Earth, which I think is why he was being asked to betray his country rather than that. Chick Rules chimed in here about the Londo situation. That he particularly liked that part because it showed it was a personal favor, as Garibaldi doesn't really like the Centauri all that much, and Londo knows that. but he still went through and but he still did that favor for him anyway.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really interesting how you had these different reactions, and they're all very believable reactions from these different groups of people, um, and I thought it gave some insight into the differences between like Londo and Jakar. It's like Londo is like he's almost like thinking of Garibaldi as a person. Is like, yeah, I don't want to stretch my neck out too far in case it hurts me, but I'm gonna try and do what I can to like do a little bit of help for this person that I have fond feelings for, versus Jakar, who is like almost always thinking in a warlike mindset, like of my people versus other people, and so he thinks instead of you know instead of like trying to do a favor for Garibaldi, he thinks this is how I can turn Garibaldi into a tool for my people, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's interesting difference because I think it was in the next episode um, we have Lando kind of lamenting, is like, what happened to my people? Why did their greatness fall apart? And maybe that's why. Maybe because the Narn think of themselves as a united people, and
Sorry, think of themselves as individuals.
the Centauri think of themselves as individuals inside of an empire. And so, like, because when you look at all of the Centauri that you see, they're all actually fairly wealthy. Everyone seems to be doing pretty well for themselves, but the empire as a whole is in decline. And so it's kind of like whereas the Narn, like, I don't know, maybe it's really hard to judge like wealth of alien civilizations, but like it just feels like Jakar has less, personal spending money than Lando does.
Yeah. I mean
And
that also makes sense because among other things, his his civilization has been recently came out of freeing themselves from being occupied by a whole nother civilization. Um, Tick Rules also wanted to bring up from a couple weeks ago when we were on the Soul Collector episode. Like he liked it because it's one of the times you see the Minbari ambassador Delenn truly mad, and just other bits. And I mean, I think this situations like these kind of show how we like the whole thing as a whole. Why we like this thing as a whole, because as a whole this series shows these various people in situations that they're not just, oh, she is the serene one, he is the greedy one, he is the warlike one. It shows them in all these various different situations that like Delenn, who is the calm and peaceful one during the Soul Collector episode, was truly livid and basically ready to kill someone almost. Londo is the greedy one and whatnot in the Survivors episode, was willing to do a personal favor to a friend of his despite having no true advantage for him, and just all these wonderful bits and bubbles like that. So next one was another one I feel like kind of also showcases the show's willingness to go places where most shows might find uncomfortable. The by any means necessary episode, because the primary plot line in this one is the conflict between this union of dock workers and um
and the government.
yeah, and the government.
So there was, I think, an unaddressed issue in this episode.
Uh-huh.
So I forget exactly what he called them, but the but I think Sinclair was going to go talk to like the Chamber of Commerce or like the business whatever people. Do you remember that,
The
him saying that?
Trade Council and the Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Now, here's my problem, is that, these people on the Trade Council, they have a vested interest in cargo being able to come on and off the ship, or on and off the station. And you'd think that they'd be willing to pay for the station, docks to be upgraded because it's going to directly affect their business. And okay, so maybe they wouldn't, like, of the goodness of their hearts, like, give donations. I mean, maybe some of them would, but probably most of them, like, maybe there wouldn't be enough money that way.
Yep.
But what about selling off shares of the dock?
That might.
Like, I think that if you said, hey, if you buy this many shares in the dock reconstruction project, then you'll get a discount for this long in shipping things on and off the station. Or you'll get to, you'll get a certain percentage of the profits from the fees from shipping stuff on and off the station. Because we know from previous episodes that it is very expensive to get things through the dock on and off of the station.
True. True.
So there's a revenue stream, and selling off part of the dock to businesses that want to make a profit should it should at least help raise some money for upgrading the docks. But that was completely unaddressed in the.
I think the main issue with that one is that Babylon 5 has been called at several points effectively an Earth military station. I mean, its whole point is supposed to be to bring Earth close and these alien races into a more understanding situation, all that. But it is still an Earth Force base, and as such, oh, you're kidding me. Well, at least I got the resources back for that. Oops. I just messed up with construction. Anywho, so I think that's the big problem is that it is considered an Earth military base, and because of that, they don't want someone who might not have Earth's interests in mind owning part of the station.
Okay.
I think that would be the main issue with it. But yeah, I mean that is a solution that makes sense, but I'm just trying to point out the reasons why it might not work. Anywho, but it also the tie-in between it and the B plot was really nice. It basically was what kicked off the A plot also kicked off the B plot. So what happened in there? Oh, Tick Rules mentioned on that. You'd be surprised how cheap companies can be about internal logistics. As he works in one, they consider stores as profit and internal logistics as an expense. I don't work very high up in a store or anything like that, but I mean, I'm currently working in a grocery store, and I can agree with this fact that a lot of a lot of necessary upgrades are just seen as expenses, where it are just seen as expenses, and as long as the store is turning a profit, and it doesn't like completely interfere, they will find a way to say, oh no, it's not necessary, we can just basically stick a patch on it and we'll be fine. And it's quite amazing what the length some companies are willing to go just to avoid spending money on fixing problems when they can get while they still are turning a profit.
Yeah, but the thing is that what would happen, do you think, at the store that you work at if, like, if the trucks that were delivering goods didn't work anymore, I'd think that they'd, at least try and get those working.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
no,
know.
it's they are willing to get it working, but will they be willing to actually fix what broke down, fix why it broke down in the first place? If it's cheaper to just put a patch on it to get them working again, they would probably just put that patch on there rather than actually fix the core problem. That's that's the way it comes. That's what it basically comes down to. That's why that's yeah. Anywho, we're getting a so basically what happened is that there was a backlog on transport ships, and it came to a head when one transport ship tried to tried to dock, and something shorted in one of the computers, and it nearly caused two transports to collide. Which, while that was avoided, one transport was damaged. Parts of it fell down and damaged the dock and caused the death of one of the dock workers, and that kicked off basically a set of basically an illegal strike. Um, negotiate the Earth was unwilling to give more budget to Babylon 5 to increase the wages of the dock workers, to renovate the docks, even though the parts were shoddy at best. Um, and that and the dock workers were refusing to work until the conditions improved, where they wouldn't be worried about dying on the job. And so, and Earth sent in a negotiator to try and fix the problem, and he invoked the Rush Act, which I'm actually not sure if that's a real thing. I mean, it sounds like there's at least an equivalent, but basically it was because they were illegally rioting. The people, the Babylon 5 security had the means to were given the means to solve this problem by any means necessary, including mass arrests of any workers who are still rioting, and is actually um the and basically the negotiator ended up invoking the Rush Act. Things looked like they were about to go to a head, and then and the commander basically used the letter of the law to bypass to basically redevote part of Babylon 5's defense budget, which had been raised that year, to the dock workers to begin renovating it, and increase hiring more workers, giving them raises, and basically giving them what they were asking for.
Yep,
Which,
that is what happened.
yeah, the Senate was very much not happy with that, but basically the commander was along the lines of, "Yeah, I'm aware of this. It's not that isn't news to him." Um, the way that the B plot and the way it ties in is that the transport that was damaged, um, was a Narn transport carrying basically a flower that was important for a religious ceremony for Jakar. Um, Jakar was he was in a religious ceremony, certain religious days for his where he's in a section of his religious days, and the peak, or the head of this was to burn parts of a certain flower as incense during a ceremony, and it is a very hard to raise flower, very expensive to ship, and losing the shipment to in the docks was a massive setback and a very big deal. And it is him trying to find another one that can get in time for the ceremony, and discovering that the only flower that is available on the station belongs to Londo.
Yep.
And them going back and forth, basically Londo refusing to give it to him, basically as an act of revenge for back for the among other things, like Ragash 3 with the event in the very first episode where I believe it was his nephew was captured by the Narns and forced to make it seem like they had willingly departed from the Centauri Empire. And this is eventually solved right after the end of the whole riot act. In that commander force basically tells Londo that the flower is actually considered, I believe, an intoxicant or something.
Yeah, it's a controlled substance.
Yeah, the flower is a controlled substance which is only used for medicinal or religious purposes, and as such, it would be confiscated, though he would be properly reimbursed for using it, and that that Jakar would get a hold of it in return for returning something that he had stolen, because trying to get back at Londo. But Londo gives up on it because he had already gotten his revenge off of it, in that and I'm using air quotes there, you can determine if it was justified or not, because it had already passed the time when he was supposed to have done the ceremony. And Sinclair offers a very unique interpretation on the ceremony, because the ceremony is supposed to be at the point where the sunlight touches the top of this sacred mountain, and while that moment has already passed on the home world, because it was because of the distance from the Narn home world that Babylon 5 was that in about 12 hours from this from when he resolved the situation, sunlight that had originally touched the top of that mountain would be making it to Babylon 5. And
sunlight that had touched the mountain 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, 10 Narn years ago, because they do actually say that, cultures are not necessarily the same per species. But yeah, about 10 Narn years ago, the just that the sunlight that was just about to reach Babylon 5 had touched the top of that mountain, and basically he could use that as his for his religious ceremony, and Jakar was very, very happy that he could and was able to do it.
Yeah, that is what happened. Yeah, so let's see. They gave a lot of really nice and somewhat convenient solutions to the problems that Sinclair was facing. The by any means necessary clause in the Rush Act was very useful because it implies use of force, but Sinclair said, oh, well, by any means necessary means I can rewrite the budget that I was given. And that's
I mean, to be fair, he talked to the negotiator guy who had invoked the Rush Act, and basically reminded them, and basically got confirmation that the Rush Act says he could end the riot and these strikes by any means. He was within his right to do whatever it took to finish it, and that can effectively mean that if he so wished, he could basically utilize the budget. He just needed to bring an end to the strikes, which he did.
So, I actually watched the next episode after this one, and I know this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm gonna do it anyway. what I thought was really interesting, and in this episode, by any means necessary, Sinclair uses the Rush Act to change the budget and take away some of the military budget and use it for the dock workers and upgrading the docks.
Mm-hmm.
But in the next episode, the command staff laments about how there are these raiders that are attacking these transports, and they lack the firepower and the fighters.
It's not that they lack the firepower. It's that the distance well, there is so much distance between them and the last military port. They can't effectively cover it all at being one space station.
Exactly. And so it's fascinating. I think it's nice that they cut the budget for military and they end up um, well they end up having some military troubles after that. It's I think internally consistent.
That is true.
And I don't want to talk too much more about the next episode, but I did think that was really neat how that happened. How
Yeah.
they're talking about we have old equipment and we have old fighters and we have pilots that aren't trained properly, and so we're suffering militarily, possibly in part due to the way the budget was recut, which cut some of the military funding.
Yeah. As for the Tick Rules has commented on the fact that I've built up a couple of habitats, and when you select them, the picture for the planet itself makes it. I mean, the picture for the habitat makes it look like it's a planet, and so I can honestly say that looking in closely, it is a giant space station, true, but it's meant to emulate a
Where's
a
your
planet.
habitat?
I have some in my home world. It's meant to emulate a planet. It's meant to emulate a way that for people to live on. And well, I mean, it might not be a perfect planet. It could still simulate, environments such as land masses, mountains, hills, forests. Especially when you include the various buildings that you can put in. Things like agricultural zones. Section of the habitat is set aside for cultivation of plants and animals. There are areas that are specifically designed to tend to the cultural and social needs of the habitat's occupants, and basically being equivalent placed on a planet, which first, depending on the species, might be something as simple as it has a bunch of parks in it. Just depending on the species and how things work. And yeah. Anywho, I'm currently still kicking butt in my war against the little federation that opposes us. I keep wiping through their fleets. Every time they build up a fleet, I just annihilate it. To my understanding, the Tick Rules, yes, it is basically a simulated environment, not just a giant space station with lots of corridors. So, yeah. So that is some stuff that's going on. Anything happening in your guys' empires right now? And you kind of heard about. Yeah, I'm building up some habitats and dealing with a war.
I'm building my army, my military more, but other than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you also get a notification a little while back about a megastructure?
Yes.
Yeah, I am building myself a science nexus.
I noticed. Congratulations.
Be a wonderful little thing to have, increasing my science without the need of increasing my population, which brings down increases the penalty to basically for researching science. Why is this guy not moving? Am I that far behind? I know which planet I want to go after next. I'll be glad when we start a new game and we have. The Tick Rules is asking if our materialist empire is fully synthetic yet. Math, I believe that would be you. How are you doing on becoming synthetic?
I think I'm like half synthetic.
If I recall correctly, you are you did you
Let me
get
look
the
at my demographics?
Well, I'm not materialist, synthetic. Like taking the synthetic ascension path.
Let me look. I have.
Do you have any of the either of the synthetic ascension perks, the flesh is weak or synthetic evolution?
Oh, I guess only 15% of my population is synthetic.
Are you going? Are you getting the ascension perks for those though?
My ascension perks are technological ascendancy, one vision, and interstellar dominion.
You only have 3?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be part of it. And you're not. Have you not tried to get? Are you going for the flesh is weak next? Because I mean, it's not. There's not much time. There's not gonna be. I don't think you'll actually manage to become fully synthetic by the end of this. By the end of this game, which is a bit sad.
Well, I don't play as much of this game as you, so it's a little bit. It says that in 189 months I get to pick my next tradition, and that'll what?
Will that finish a tradition tree?
Yep.
So then you could, that would mean that you'd be able to choose a new ascension perk, such as the flesh is weak, and make your.
What's the other? The other.
You would need.
You said there are 2 of them, right?
Yes, but you need to get the flesh is weak first.
Okay.
Just like I had to get the mind over matter before I could get transcendence.
Okay. Hey, Dear Mood.
Yes.
Would you like to help me take out the Belmacosa vestige?
I could do that myself, but if you want to, go for it. Sure, if you want the help. By the way, my fleet is now 316k.
It's so cute. So cute and tiny. And yes, I am doing that on purpose.
I know. You punk.
Considering the fact that I could that my fleet is big enough, I could split it in half and still have enough of a fleet to take you on by myself.
Do you want to try that, son?
The question is, do you... I was going to say, the question is not if I want to, but the question is, do you want to? I don't think you want to.
Unfortunately, I'd probably still lose.
Yeah, and that's not... I mean, even if math joined in on your side, it probably wouldn't go well.
You mean between the 2 of you? I was busy setting up war demands for the Belmacosa.
I mean, if me and Diermood went to war and you joined Diermood, I would still probably win.
Oh yeah.
It is just sadly the way it likely be. And there it is. You have declared war on the last fallen empire. Let's see if you can manage it.
And are you ready to send your fleet in?
Already sent it.
Wonderful. What kind of drives do these people have?
Side drives.
Side drives.
Or jump drives, possibly side drives. I don't actually know. I just know that they definitely use jump drive tech. It's just I don't know which particular one. Okay, sorry it took so long to actually respond to the rules, but on the Ascension paths, a lot of people think that right now the Psionic one is currently buffed higher than the rest. The with Synthetic actually falling behind at the moment, although that one is definitely going to be changing because changing on how it works because with Synthetic Dawn, robots are going to get a lot of love, and so that as a side effect means so will synthetic empires. And the biological ascension kind of is the odd one in that it can be it's very powerful if done right, but at the same time, you kind of have to you kind of have to design it as you go. You kind of have to design it. You have to say since it's just messing with pops and not so much with anything extra. You get some amazing traits. Probably you get the best traits in the game, but but that's practically all you get.
Oh, problem.
What?
They jumped into your territory, didn't they, Math?
No.
Oh no, they jumped in on your fleet.
Should have into position first. They have a nearly 230k fleet in there.
Yeah.
Come on, run away. No.
They've already
No.
engaged it. They've already engaged it.
No, I engaged the
No, they have. I'm
outpost.
selecting your fleet. They have already engaged the enemy fleet. Well, they did manage to retreat. And there was only like one shot taken.
I am on my way.
Enemy planet secured.
The pop bomb. So the Tick Rules mentioned another YouTuber who has done ridiculous things with the bio ascension, like the population bomb, which is I've seen and done right, it is an amazing thing because you make absolute garbage an absolute garbage tier population give the give the race that you're trying to that you're trying to screw over of a planet with that garbage pop.
Oh, freaking Havariga.
What?
What happened?
I now have to go around them. The Havariga systems. I was all set to start going through when they did that. Because guess what? I can now go to war with them again.
So you're having to go all the way around the long side of the galaxy?
Not necessarily.
Oh, I guess you can go just south of the Havaraga through me.
Oh, did I not give? But yeah, so you can do some ridiculous things with the bio ascension, but again, it requires you to do a lot of messing around with the biologic with the pops and whatnot, and you have to know what you kind of have to know what you're doing, which is the main reason why I haven't
Or I could just do
done
this,
much.
by the way.
Yeah, you can. How many systems did you decide to take from them on the war demand?
All of them.
I didn't. Not all of them.
How many?
I'll do that next. 5 planets, 4 systems.
Oh, the ones on the top?
Yeah, and a little farther down.
They only have 4 systems on the top, though.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, all 4. Yeah. One of them has 2 planets in it.
Hmm.
Situation log updated. Situation log updated.
Okay. I've nearly ended my war, though. Taking a chunk out of the,
They have a Titan in that fleet.
Yeah.
This ought to be interesting.
A Titan can basically one-shot any ship we can build currently.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm glad I have over 100.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'm poking around, checking the fleets of the Federation, and I'm noticing that. Let me see. I've seen an 8,000K fleet, 1,000K, 18K, 12K. Yeah, they don't have much left. I massacred their fleets. That's okay. Yeah, no, I mean their largest fleet is like 17K on the in this alliance. If I saw that right, which I can't even find it now, and it might have been that it was. Nope, there it is.
So, are you fighting a war with the Havariga just to get passage?
Unfortunately, I hit it too late, but I'm still going to do it anyway. Well, because if I go to war, I don't care about the boundaries anymore, so I could have just gone right through. By the way, I'm now in the system with their over 200K fleet.
Oh, wonderful! I will join you.
If you wish to at least observe.
I think I'm actually the one behind nowadays, because yeah, you weren't actually in there yet. Your fleet is just under 300K outside your own territory.
Yeah, that's the thing that always throws me off. Inside my territory.
Yeah, it happens to me too, but you know, it's a little less of a issue. Also,
You have peace.
yay! I now have a new vassal, the Cerulean Star Hegemony. They're gonna hate you guys.
Why is that?
Well, okay, they're gonna hate math mainly.
They're evangelizing zealots.
Yes, they are. He's unlocked, so I can.
I wish I could tell them to focus their fire on the Titan.
Oh, that's what the big one is.
See if that works. Oh, it was another lag spike because I'm basically transferring control. Yep, there we go. If you notice, my little vassal has just suddenly grown a bit more.
There's the Titan.
My little vassal now has control over the the entirety of the old Spiritualist Fallen Empire's planets. Now I no longer have to worry about those guys being a problem for me. They now belong to my vassal, and since my vassal is also spiritualist, you know, they still have a nice, fine population. They even have some of my people there. Sure, I'll open a migration treaty with my vassal.
At least the Titan has been taking damage. It's at just under half health. There we go. Now they're losing ships, that's why it's moving. Well, the more ships they lose, the quicker it is to focus.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is on the Fallen Empire fleets is that they may have a higher fleet power per ship, but that also means that every ship lost is a bigger hit to them than it is to our navies. Okay. This is fun. Once you actually kill that fleet, you're gonna have basically free reign over their systems. You might have to rebuild up in order to actually take out their stations, a few places here and there. But
actually, I'm tempted to leave that to Math Jazz because after this, they're not going to be much of an issue.
No, they won't be. And yeah, this was the last major threat we would have to deal with. Because, yeah, they are the last one who can really threaten any of us. The Alliance might still be able to actually take on Math, but they can't. I mean, I've crushed them head over. I've crushed them so easily. Yermut, you can crush him so easily. And Math, if he actually builds up his fleet, could probably crush them pretty easily. Math, you have the potential for it. Just, you know, you actually gotta build it up. Oh, what the heck. It's not like it's gonna matter much anyway.
For what's the fact it keeps on going immediately into another combat, I consider just going home.
Yeah. But yeah, I have an evangelizing zealot as a, I have a new evangelizing zealot vassal that is, in your corner. So, yeah. Math, have you actually seen where he is?
Yes. He is between me and me.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys won.
I'm happy to come back if you need the help, but I'm done.
I think I should be able to take it from here.
Are you gonna go and do your fighting against the Havaragi?
Well, for this moment, I'm going home. I need to fix and update my fleet. But outside of that, yeah, I'll be right after that.
I feel so bad for these guys. These guys love me, and basically it's and you know, since we're trying not to go to war in this one, anything I could do to help would involve going after you guys. Oh dear.
Whoa.
My game might be crashing. Hold on. Nope, never mind. Okay, phew. because I selected my fleet, which causes lag, right at the end of the month, which causes a major lag spike. So it was just a very bad combination of timing. Dang. Sector that he's governing. Environmental. Yeah, a lot of my leaders can currently live like a lot. Like most of my leaders can live over 200 years at this moment, as of this time. Most of all my leaders except one are over 100 years old.
Wow.
I actually have one. My general. My general currently has a lifespan of. He only gets a death chance. He gets a death. He only gets a death chance once he goes past 227 years old. He'll be he doesn't have a chance to die until he's over 200. Well, granted, some of that was a benefit from the shroud, but still, even so, that is absolutely hilarious. Yeah. So, Dick Rules is bringing up a good fact to counter my amazingness at having my leaders being like all over 100 years old and all able to live over 200, and that would be synths are immortal, just straight up. Which is a good thing. You never have to worry about your leader about your leaders dying on you and whatnot. I'm just starting to spam habitats. Well, not spam, but I'm starting to build up a lot of habitats. I don't need the active sensor link from him, but I have no problem sharing with my little vassal. He is awesome. And even when I lose the Liberator trait, I'm going to, he's going to be about plus 150. Yes, the Shroud can. So the Shroud does have a chance of making a leader immortal. At least one leader. I'm not sure if it's a multi-leader thing, but I know there is at least one who can become, for lack of a better term, I think it's the Chosen One, and he is immortal. But I don't think it's come up on my playthrough yet. those wonderful things that I seem to be missing out on. That and side jump drives. I think I've seen the event once and it failed, which really irks me. So yeah, that has been a thing.
These defending armies are incredibly powerful. Like, way more so than I would have expected.
Army modifiers plus 55% army damage, plus 50% army health. They are the They are the They are the ones that are the most militaristic. And I have another habitat ready for inhabitants.
Yay!
With another one done probably within a month. Maybe a little bit more.
Taking that one planet gave me 23% war score.
They don't have a lot of planets. They only had 6 planets. Of course, they don't have much war score. Don't have much war score to go around. In fact, actually, I'm not. I mean, you'd have to deal with a lot of military installations if you do so, but but in some ways, it'd probably be best going for their home system because that has 2 of their 6 planets right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, the problem being that you'd have to deal with a lot of military stations.
Yeah, I was planning on going for Ofang because,
it's right in your
like,
path.
yeah.
Personally, this is why you're. So the tick rules mentioned that, personally, that is why I'm not into psychic. Their best stuff is at the mercy of a random number generator, and yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. Generally speaking, I mostly did this because I wanted to play. I wanted to play a psychic race this time around, give it a shot, and I will agree. So far, I have preferred I tend to prefer materialists over spiritualists in the long run. This game especially has proven it to me, where all the good stuff has been locked behind a random number generator, and it just never seems to roll in my favor. Now, I have a friend who tends to play spiritualist, and oh my gosh, he tends to get everything perfect. Not actually, but the random number generator tends to fall in his favor more often than not. It's ridiculous. Um, you've I was my thing off, or I keep because I saw like you were at 50k. Now I see you're at 77k. What the heck?
That's because I zeroed out on minerals for a moment.
Oh, yeah, that would be a problem. How are you so low on minerals?
That's been my problem this entire game.
What's your mineral income?
Right now it's negative because my fleet is flying around, but when my fleet is in orbit, it's like a couple hundred.
What is it right now?
Negative 317.
317? Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. The Science Nexus is only giving me 30 for every wing I complete. That is even ship only being 250 of each science type is definitely a much higher level. Or whatever I can use. So that you're minus over 300 minus 300 minerals when your fleet is out.
Yes.
You owe me big time for that one.
Oh, that's amazing.
I could afford that even if my fleet was out. It currently isn't, so I'm making over 1.6k at the moment. So yeah, you take that. Just gosh dang it. My condition is that you will not declare war on the Havaragi.
Sure.
Or if you do, you at most take the Landine system.
Oh, the one that I have partial control over?
Yeah. That is the most you can take from them.
Okay.
Colonization in progress.
Yeah, so the tick rules, brought up a mention, on the synth stuff. That brings up the Ghost in the Shell stuff. Does becoming a machine make you less than human? What would you become if we weren't us anymore? That is a very deep question.
One that I think we will never know.
Probably not. At least not in our life. Probably not in our lifetimes, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what's the difference between a person that has been put in a robot body versus a person that has like a pacemaker?
It's yeah.
More
I mean,
flesh.
it's one of those things. Does losing does you lose if you're put in a robotic body? Do you lose something that makes you like lose something that makes you yourself, or is it that being in a robotic body doesn't actually change anything? Is it that that there is nothing inherently special about our organic bodies? What and that's a real question that it's currently honestly probably impossible to answer. It would require a lot of thought and probably examples even that right now we can't have examples for that.
Incoming transmission.
I don't mind. I'm just basically giving my vassals access to various strategic resources for what to me are very minute trades. Why? I don't care. You get my trade thing, Math?
Yeah, I just agreed to it.
Okay. End of the month lag spike. Yeah, this is the moment where this would probably be the hardest fight that you're going to have other than their actual fleet. Just because they have so many Reaper-class fortresses. Whoa! You are kidding! Right before we wanted to end it. Right before we wanted to end it. That's the Scourge. That's the Prethorans. The Prethorans are showing up.
Cool.
They're in trouble.
Even if they have 1,000,000 fleet power, all I need to do is rearrange it so I have anti-armor capabilities. Ship designer. Let's go and do that then. Okay. Let's start redesigning my fleet to have things like plasma and lasers. Well, main thing being plasma. Yes, the space locusts have arrived. Oh boy, this will be fun. Okay, we're reworking this to not be torpedoes, because torpedoes are basically useless against the sword form. We'll keep a hanger core there though. So, all the plasma. Yeah, actually, might be just be better. Go back and. Okay, you know what? Let's autocomplete the ship. Yeah, actually, that works. Perfect. Let's go back and replace those with plasma. Okay. They're from class battleships. They are working. Plasma. I will want some fighter wings for them though, because probably more than bomber wings actually, because they'll have long range damage will belong to mainly these guys, which place all that plasma. Ah, dang it! Please don't crash. Please don't crash. And the tachyon. There we go. Of course, I'm willing to bet that I will lose the entirety. That my fleet will entirely become one battleship type. I guarantee it. Yeah, I've got missile defenses and fighter defenses. That's why I also built fighters onto my Seraphim class battleships, which I don't know if it will actually. I don't know if it'll upgrade all my battleships to one class or if it'll upgrade each class to their respective upgrades. It'll take me about a year to upgrade my fleet, but only a year to upgrade the entirety of my fleet, which is fantastic. Oh, this one's been established. Okay, let us begin. District. Temple. Paradise Dome. Let's go for laboratory complex. But yeah, all anti-armor on this one.
Research complete.
Of course, all the stuff I've been researching for stuff. As a psychic, I actually have the excuse of being able to prep for them before I know what they are. Yes, that's technically true. Also, I believe I can actually talk to them.
Yeah, you can hear about how they're running from something scarier than they are.
How they are just simply labeled the survivors. That is what their species is actually survivors. Oh, that's it. I'm guessing you want to pause it so that way you can rework your sudden inclusion of territory.
That would be nice.
So there are no more fallen empires in this galaxy. We have the Mushroom Kingdom, the Uri Covenant, and the Telestial Holdings. The Stellar Concord Alliance, which is slowly crumbling, and the Havaragi Systems, who is slowly getting smashed by the holdings above them, despite being on favorable terms with the Covenant. Despite being on favorable terms with the Covenant, they are in fact slowly losing out. But jeez, I did not think that I'd basically given up on the Scourge actually showing up. It's just, seriously, after all this time, after all this time, we've basically finalized Endgame, and now they show up.
I wonder where they're gonna show up.
That's the other question. Are they going to show? It's very likely they'll show up in one of our territories. But on the
I mean,
we basically cover the majority of the external galaxy. There's only one section that really isn't ours.
I'm betting it shows up in my territory because I think that technically I have more territory than anyone else.
You definitely have more territory along the edge. A lot of my territory is actually, I actually have a lot of my territory. A lot of my territory is actually covered by the stuff that Diermu has on the edge. It's I don't know. It's just gonna be really odd. Let us know when you're ready to continue, Math.
Let me think. I will need to create a new sector.
Or expand your old one. I mean, I'm guessing you had an old sector from the bit that was just below them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way.
I'm just gonna create a new sector out of this. There you go. I'm ready now.
The Hickrels mentioned that the Scourge's only restriction is that they will not spawn next to a fallen empire, but that's not a issue anymore. They could actually spawn anywhere at this point. They could literally spawn at any edge of the galaxy. I think I'll have this one be energy this time around. Have to click. There we go. But yeah, we just gotta wait a little bit of time, and then and then the Scourge will be upon us. I mean, I want our next stream to be our last one because on this season, just because the new one's about to start. But that is some real.
I really doubt that the Prothoran Scourge is gonna last an episode, to be honest.
It depends. It depends on I mean, we thought we were ready for the Unbidden, and then the Unbidden just came in and started curb stomping us. The only reason they stopped was because they basically didn't expand. The Scourge is at least gonna hit us with a major probably hit us with a major opening blow. After that, though, I do think they fracture their fleets a little bit more, but I just don't think I just don't think they're going to be on par with the Unbidden, which means that they might actually have 1 million fleet power. The question is just, would they have 1 million fleet? Would it be just that they have several 100K fleets flying around, in which case I could definitely crush them, or are they going to have a major fleet like they did, like the Unbidden did, which is going to be a lot harder?
I don't know. You have like a 700K fleet, though, right?
900K.
Yeah, so that plus Diermud's 3K plus my 100K, you know.
True. By the way, are you going to go after that one Havaragi planet, or are you going to leave them alone?
That one what?
The Havaragi planet. Are you going to go after that one planet, or are you going to leave them alone? Because if you're...
I don't know if I am able to declare war against them yet.
You should be able to. You declared war... you declared war about the same time Diermu did, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I can declare war against them.
You're only allowed to get the one in the Landine system. Remember that. That was part of our deal.
Yes, that was the deal. But I will not go against that.
Especially because it'd be very easy for me to
enforce the deal.
Yes, it would. Heck, if you, enforcing the deal might even include the loss of your homeworld. Yeah, the Tick Rules believes we will just absolutely crush the Scourge at this point. I mean, to be fair, to be fair for them, I mean, it's just a question of will they get a foothold down or will they lose out before they can get their foothold down. It's even the biggest unbidden fleet can't actually hold out against us. So if the largest unbidden fleet couldn't hold out against us, then unless even if the Scourge has one that matches, they can't actually win. They might make it difficult, but they can't actually win. Ooh, I got a new. Oh, So, do I go for domination or diplomacy? I'm gonna go for domination.
Why do all of my scientists cost 70 now?
Might be it might be things that improve like your scientist's lifespans or things of that nature.
That's probably it.
Uh-oh. Pause. And the strange subtext echoes we detected enforce these Let's see where they're coming from. The coming storm. Track all on map. Right in the middle of your territory map.
I knew it. Didn't I? I said exactly that, didn't I?
Yeah, let's see, how much longer before my fleet is done? My fleet will be done in about a month and a half. So then I will be able to move my fleet over.
I don't see them.
They will be, at the very bottom of Manchester's territory, there's a couple black holes. One is the Devil's Maw. It is, that is actually slightly in the right section of where they will show up. They will be showing up in the surrounding systems. The Brianna and the Escallion system would probably be where we'd want to have our fleets positioned. Just because those are the inhabited systems that Math has, where they're supposedly going to arrive.
Alright.
And how long do we have until they get there?
Not long. That's all. It's just not long.
Alright, let us unpause and continue.
Okay, as I said, my fleet will be available shortly, but not until like the 11th. Sometime, not until about a little less than halfway through the 11th month. So, and then I'll actually have to get out of system and get into the territory. So my fleet might not quite finish upgrading before they actually show up. Oh boy. I seriously did. I mean, not only did I not was I basically had given up on them showing up. I didn't think that once we found out they would show up, they'd show up in the same episode, in the same stream. Oh my gosh. So we've beaten all the Fallen Empires, we've beaten the Unbidden, and the Scourge is coming in, we're probably going to beat them too. And then we have that tiny little section of the galaxy that currently isn't ours, which is, they can't actually stop us at this point.
I guess the last crisis is to have a robot uprising, right?
Yeah, but that requires someone to get synths and for the synths to actually have issues. So my fleet should now be on their way. Yep, my fleet is now making its way to the Brianna system. Right? Oh, they're here! Establishing visual feed. Lag spike. Right here. Translation software failed. But yeah, they are close enough now that we can talk to them. My fleet is on their way. Oh, man. Just what timing? I mean, it's also the best timing, too, because now we don't have to, I mean, they might, I mean, the other empires might actually still supposedly have a problem with us, but, you know, there's not much they can do about it at this point. Irmut, are you just going to finish your war against them?
Probably.
Math is gathering his fleet in the Spirium system.
That's correct.
My fleet will be down there shortly. Hopefully able to catch some of these ships when they some of the Scourge when they arrive. Two more jumps.
Wonderful.
Oh wait, nope. They just need one more jump. Just the next jump, we'll put them in a system in the Birana system. My fleet has taken a major dive in its supposed fleet power. It is now down to just under 700k. Probably because it is not optimized. It is entirely anti-armor. Although it does appear that I have both Archon and Seraphim class. Oh, the first wave. We have received word that several outlying systems along the Galactic Rim are being overrun by some sort of invasion force. This appears to have been the source of the subspace echoes we had detected approaching our galaxy. What we are encountering now is only the Vanguard. The main body of the contacts has yet to arrive. Their Vanguard fleets are 100k each.
Yes.
There are 3, 6, 9, 12 Vanguard fleets.
Let's take out the one in the Duraskadon system. No, let's take out the one in Aranes. Okay?
I am
I'm
shifting.
gonna jump into Aranes.
My fleet is now shifting to end up in that system. These are all Swarmling class. Holy crap. Okay, I'm gonna unpause it now.
Okay.
Yipe. Yeah, let's try to keep them from actually. Oh, and some of them are merging. Yeah, probably a good idea to swap down a speed since this is now a big deal. Okay, I've entered the system, and I will be going after those 3 fleets that are there. Basically, Tachyon, ready all Tachyon lances. We will purge this infestation from the galaxy.
I'm gonna be right behind you.
Ah.
2 days.
And of course they would show up in your territory, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Unbidden did too. Why wouldn't the Swarm? Lag. I think they're firing missiles. Tachyon lances. Oh. A lot of them are missing, but that's also because these are the smallest class they have. So Tachyon lances aren't going to be quite as effective as normal. On the other hand, the plasma launchers are going to be fairly effective. You know, when they hit, gosh dang it, what is wrong with this? The Mushroom Kingdom is under never-ending threat in this universe.
I mean, That's how you get Mario games. We just need to have a bunch of plumbers.
I mean, you didn't name your ships like plumber class?
Well, I'm gonna fix that now. Except that you can't rename them in a war, can you?
You'd have to upgrade them for that to change. Oh my gosh, it is taking a lot of effort just to kill individual ships. I guess that's because this is all the long range. This is all the large ones. Oh, they're getting some of my corvettes. Oh, yeah, this might be a little... Well, I mean, once the large fleets get here, I'll probably rip through those even easier than these guys, but it's... Because these are all the small class, I'm actually having trouble.
Oh, I think I'm getting a visual glitch. I'm on the galaxy map and there's like some weird explosions happening on it.
That happens actually quite a lot to me. I just kind of ignore it at this point.
Does it happen when you're leaving a system that has battle in it?
What?
Does it happen when you're leaving a system that there's a battle in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, just happened on my end again. Oh, we've got another fleet coming into the system. Right on top of yours.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, actually, I think we're ripping through that one quicker than we're ripping through the one that we're at range with. Holy crap.
Hard to hit small things at range.
Yeah. I mean, we've already taken out a few of those ships as like almost immediately after they came in system. Again, just a matter of just patience and throwing ships at the enemy. So, the Tick Rules also wanted to mention that apparently Mario's becoming a carpenter in the new game, which is blasphemy.
Mario is a carpenter in the original game.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they changed him to a plumber after that.
Okay, we have managed to kill one of the enemy fleets. Oh, second wave.
What are you doing, DR Mood?
Oh, their main
I'm trying to get my war done.
their main fleets have arrived. Their main fleets are about 400k each.
400,000k.
There are 3 of them. Oh, go. To be fair, again, this is still more of a matter of we will win. Just how long will it take? Remember, Scourge fleets function best at mid-range, so it's usually good to stay at range or to get in close. Against these small fleets, it'd probably be best to get in close because, you know, it's easier to hit up close. The smaller weapons have range, have less range, so it's better to bring in all your firepower at once.
So I guess this answers the question, does Stellaris scale the crises based on the fleet power available? The answer is yes.
But it's still based on it's based on galaxy size. It would, if they had come earlier, they still would have been this big.
Really?
Yeah. Oh! Oh! Oh boy!
What?
Three of their primary fleets have shown up.
And they are going where?
I meant in the system where we're fighting.
Oh.
Dieramud, we could really use your help down here. Like, now.
Even if I was to leave right now, there's no way I'd be there.
You'll be surprised. I think more of their fleets are actually making their way here. Good thing smell doesn't travel in space. There will be a lot of floating corpses. A lot of burning floating corpses. Dieramud, seriously, help.
I would love to, but I can't.
You can, you were just choosing not to.
I can't retreat from my current thing for another 20 days, and it's stupidly engaged with mining station.
Oh, you mean you're... Okay. So it's not that you can't, it's that your fleet is currently engaged with, an enemy mining station.
No, it is. I can't. Not that I don't want to.
Well, we'll see how well my fleet holds up, and hey, if it loses a lot of ships, that just means that I'll just have a lot more. I'll have a less lag issue. Oh my gosh! But yeah, we've got 3 major fleets coming our way. We've got 3 of their major fleets in this system, in addition to the initial Vanguard fleets. Matt. Oh, I was gonna say, did you retreat your fleet? No, your fleet was just on top of theirs because there was only like 1 ship left. Okay. Well, the fleet that was at our backs are gone. Now we just have to deal with the 2 small fleets and then the 3 large fleets. Oh man, I've lost over half my corvettes, or about half my corvettes, I should say.
I've lost almost all my corvettes.
Yeah, to be fair, also they did jump in right on top of your fleet. The fact that you got away with as little damage as you did was pretty good.
I lost like 5k worth of corvettes.
Again, that is pretty good. I've lost about...
It looks like I lost about 35 or 40 corvettes.
I've lost almost 150.
Yeah, but I only had like 50 or 60 to start with.
Oh, dear mercy. This is a
bloodbath.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a bloodbath, yes, but at the same time, I am still very worried. On the other hand, their fighter bombers are getting wiped by my fighters. It is a good thing I switched mainly to fighters. I mean, do you just see that line of orange on their fleet?
No.
I guess it's gone for you, but you just see those blooms of orange on their fleet? That's me wiping through their fighters. And the Tig rules. This is the unbidden final battle right off the bat. Yeah! I think so. This definitely fits the bill. Oh my gosh.
I'm just wondering why they're not trying to take any of the planets or wipe them out or anything.
They aren't actually currently... Well, I mean, you haven't given them a lot of time. They are actually bombarding one of Math Jazz's planets. I'm actually more... Oh, no, they're bringing in some... It looks like they're bringing in some of their armies, going to start merging them and start attacking. And the other thing is that because we've colonized so much, they don't have much for their actual colonizers to do at the moment. So yeah, I've lost about 200 corvettes now. We've killed about 300k of Scourge fleet power, and now we're getting to now we're hitting their major fleet. Now we're about to hit their major fleet. My fighters are just mulching any fighters that they're bringing out. And yeah, here's the thing, actually. Their larger fleets might actually be easier for me to take out, because my Tachyon Lances can actually hit them. There we go. Got one. The small fleets are down, so focusing on the larger fleets. They do have swarmlings in there, but they also have queens. They also have swarm queens. They have swarm carriers. I thought they had
They have a queen, warriors. 13 brood mothers, 15 warriors, and 63 swarmlings. in this fleet.
Oh man.
They should introduce like stealth technology in this game.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, see, their larger fleet actually, it hasn't actually happened yet, but their larger ships are getting mulched. Because their larger ships are getting smacked by my tachyon beams. Most of my tachyon beams are not missing anymore. So while they haven't lost the ships yet, they're actually taking decent damage. Like, zooming in on the Swarm Queen, this Swarm Queen is down to 1/5 of its health. Because now my Tachyon Lances can actually hit everything. Or hit more. And, well, I am down to 14 Corvettes. Boom, they just lost a Swarm Queen. Yeah, this is where my fleet will shine. My fleet will shine on taking out their large fleets. Their smaller fleets, not so much. I mean, I'm effectively neutralizing most of their missiles, most of their fighter craft. So, all they're left with is like 1/3 of their arsenal. And my fleet is specifically outfitted to cut through their armor. Which their larger vessels have like 75% armor reduction, and I'm just cutting through that. Just, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Oh yeah, math. The Tick Rules reminded me. It's probably a good idea to find go to all the planets in this area and start building a crap ton of defense armies if you can afford it.
Oh yeah.
Because they will be invading your planets, and making sure you have plenty of defense armies is a very good idea.
Defense armies or like xenomorph armies?
Defense armies. They're a lot cheaper and a lot quicker to build. Even if they're not quite as good, they are very good for their price because they can't move. Yeah, we've cut one of the fleets in half and haven't lost much in return. Just, oh my gosh. I'm gonna take a moment and see if I can talk to him. Or do they not technically show up yet? They haven't technically shown up yet. Oh, nope, there they are. Here we go. The hunters will not relent. Can there be peace? No peace. We must feed. Only when we have finished consuming the galaxy shall we depart to continue our long journey. Who are these hunters you speak of? Death. They have made us the last of our kind, and they have hunted us, the survivors, for eons. They will come here one day. We must feed until then, so that we can flee back into the darkness between galaxies when they arrive. What is their naming? Survivors. We are the last. And then we will scour the galaxy of your time. We have heard this before. Ha ha ha. The hunters will scour all of creation. What is your empty threat in the face of such truths? So yeah, there it is. And the last thing as view screen off, it fades. They
Again, that'd be something pretty cool to see them do for a pack or something later.
I think it'd be cool for the Prothoran to like find out that they are the hunters. Like it's all in their head. Like
oh well.
They go around destroying everything, and they heard these rumors that are about themselves, and they're so afraid of afraid of the rumors, so they.
That would be funny. Okay, we've knocked out the majority of those fleets. I've started losing destroyers now, but they're down to about 200k. And again, my fighters are all over these guys. Holy crap. Oh, I still have bombers. Oh, right. I think I gave my cruisers bombers. Is that what I did? Yeah, my cruisers have bombers, and my Seraphim battleships have fighter wings. Here we go. We got him. I lost about 100k in that fight, and that was almost exclusively Corvettes, with casualties starting to pile up afterwards. Holy smoke. The first round is done.
I'm gonna try and kill these colony ships while I can. Colony and, building ships.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally for that. That's probably a really good idea.
I'm assuming that you're leaving this system for somewhere else that has fleets.
If I can get my fleet to move. I'm gonna go after one of the 400k fleets that's currently out and about. Well, actually, I was, and now my fleet has engaged their armies. Which, it looks like they're actually trying to merge their armies in this system, which is a stupid AI decision. Hey, Diermood, how is your fleet thing going?
It finished. I'm heading home to reinforce and pick up. Then I'm heading over.
Have you ended the war over there?
Nah, but that's gonna be a bit longer. So, like I said, I'm just gonna reinforce the head on back over to you and help you guys out.
Okay, what did I actually lose? I lost 250 Corvettes, 93 destroyers, and 3 cruisers.
Wow.
Yeah, I lost a lot.
Can we bump it? Can we bump it back up to fast?
I can actually select my fleet again. My fleet has shrunk so much I can actually select it again. That would be. Leg spike. Okay, how many is it gonna give me? Oh, how many is it gonna tell me I've built? Oh, perfect amount. I actually burned through almost. So, I just burned through about 40,000 minerals.
Wow.
I need to rebuild my fleet.
So where are you sending your fleet next?
I'm sending it to after the fleet that's currently in that vortex next door, who is heading to the Gozam system. Actually, it might be a good idea to head to the inhabited system below us.
Spirum or Barana?
Barana.
Okay, I'm going to Barana then.
Please tell me you shifted orders. There we go. They're going to the Verona system.
Well, at least they haven't gotten any territory yet, you know?
That is true. We have been lucky so far, but holy crap, just suddenly dealing with the scourge popping up. By the way, we're running over 2 hours at this point.
Oh, that's true. Should probably save the rest of this war for the next episode.
Yep, which
That'll be our great conclusion.
the great conclusion where we finish off the dreaded scourge. Oh man, I am actually I need to.
Oh no, they took one planet.
Wait, they invade. Oh yeah, we're gonna want to go back and do that. How many corvettes do we build, sir? All of them. Yes. That is after I rebuild the 90-something destroyers I lost, I'm gonna be needing to rebuild hundreds of corvettes. Hundreds of corvettes. This is gonna be quite entertaining. See it pop up, just like construction complete.
Well,
But yeah, we should wrap it up for next one. After we defeat this fleet here, we're gonna go in and try to free the Spirium system from being, eaten.
Oh,
Yeah.
So close too.
What?
he was
2 months
almost
and-
useful.
2 months and I get my next ascension perk.
You'll get it on the next one. Don't you
You're
worry.
killing me, Smalls.
Don't you worry. We're dealing with. I mean, for the one who hasn't actually come over to help fight this galactic
I
level
actually
threat.
just clicked it. They're actually on their way right now. I literally.
Yes, they are. Well, next time you might actually help. I want to see the situation log now. I have killed 461 ships with math killing 52. Whereas and in return they have killed over 400 vessels. We've actually killed more vessels of theirs than they've killed of ours. That's probably because, the only reason they've killed as many as they have is because I've had like 250 corvettes. Anywho, okay, we will save this for this. So next week will be the last episode of this season, as by the time the episode afterwards comes around, Synthetic Dawn will have already been released, and we will be dealing with new empires, new abilities, a new crisis, and all of the fun that entails. So with that, we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.